Scalability. This is something that's gaining a lot of prominence, particularly in e-commerce. Now, the reason for that is that companies are shifting to a public-facing system. Now, there's probably an order of magnitude difference between the number of users that you're likely to have when a system is internal to the company. Even a large company, I think a company I worked for had about 130,000 employees, which seems to be a big number, but it's still a finite number compared to if the system is facing the world, where you have 6 billion potential users, or let's be realistic, maybe 4 billion, but it's still significantly larger. And you're dealing with an order of magnitude difference in the number of transactions you want to deal with. So, architecture that suited the company internal user base is probably a little bit different from the architecture that suits a global user base. And this is some of the lessons that are coming out of some of the big web application systems such as Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, Stack Overflow, and a number of others. Now the question is, when you come into scalability, you can scale vertically, that is, you can get a bigger CPU, a more powerful CPU, or if it's disk, you get more powerful disks or whatever resource that you're stuck with. Or you can scale horizontally and get more processors and more disks and have access to those. Now, that question was asked of Grace Hopper when she was contemplating bigger and more powerful systems, and she pointed out that if a farmer needs more a plow, if a farmer needs a bigger load pulled, he doesn't go out and get a bigger ox. He goes and gets another ox, and that probably applies. Now, since the advent of cloud computing and server farms, the whole idea of multiple processors has taken hold, and this has enabled the highly scalable architectures that we're starting to see. Now, that highly scalable architecture, it seems that microservices is coming out as a very favored architecture for a number of reasons. Now, I won't try to explain the microservices architecture, but it does seem to be extending the principle of small, tightly focused, single responsibility processes, except now they're deployed as separately executable processes that can be concurrent and deployed as much as possible. So this is an extension from the service-oriented architecture, and it's just gone one step further and decomposing things yet again into smaller and smaller, almost atomic services. The services, the advantages of these come out in a lot of ways. The services can be, you can have multiple services. You can deploy or create more instances of a service according to demand. That's the first thing you can do. Some of the other advantages that are coming available is that if you created small modular services, these are easier to develop and deploy. You can have a team develop a service and deploy a service very much independently of the rest of the system, so your maintenance and your ability to respond with new features increases dramatically. So microservices are becoming very much a favored architecture. The scaling is achieved through starting a new circumstance, and this seems to be giving a much more flexible architecture and much more flexible system.